So, good morning, everyone. Distinguished guests, Toastmasters, and guests for today. Thank you all for coming to the 10th meeting of the Whitefield Toastmasters Club. So, I'm your Sergeant at Arms, Vaishak, and before much further ado, I would give the stage to the presiding officer, Shilpa, Toastmaster Shilpa. Over to you.
Welcome to the 10th session of Whitefield Toastmasters. I, as the presiding officer today, declare this session open. This is my virtual gavel. Guests, if you are here for the first time, I would like to take you through the journey of what is Toastmasters doing and where Whitefield Toastmasters is. Sorry, I always have my club name in my head, so I was speaking in that. Whitefield Toastmasters is today 10 sessions old, with the members that are present here and club mentors, club coaches, and other distinguished guests also. As Toastmasters International began in long back, I would say 1961, sir, if I'm right, yes. So Ralph C. Smedley, who decided that his fellow members, work colleagues, needed some guidance on how to improve their communication. And Toastmasters International was born just over an evening toast. From there till today, there are more than 160 countries. It is spread across more than 160 countries. The records show 13,000 plus, but I think it is more than that number of clubs across the globe. And Whitefield Toastmasters is in District 92. If I'm not wrong, it's Area G. Yeah, sorry, Division G. Correct? Yes, okay. Division A. Okay, sorry, Division A. I would now call upon our team mod of the day, Toastmaster Kaushika, to take over and preside, and start with the session. Over to you, Toastmaster Kaushika.
Thank you. And you are? And Shilpa. Yes. Thank you, Toastmasters Shilpa, for that intro and for letting us know what Toastmasters is. So yeah, as you know, today I'm the TMOD. And my theme is Journey Before Destination. So we all have desires to achieve something in life. We all want to get somewhere, right? Be it in our social, professional, or personal lives, we have different goals, right? But getting there is often a very it's not a straightforward way. I mean, it's not about it. You have to go through a lot of highs and lows in life to get there. The journey is not always easy. We have to face different experiences. We are thrown with failures, successes, and how we deal with it. It's up to us to make the choice. Whether we make our failures bring us down, and don't make your successes get to your head. So it is a choice, and it is up to us to make the choice. So that's why I posed this question. What would you take, the journey or the destination? Keeping in mind where you want to be, not losing foresight of where you want to get, but at the same time, not ruining your day-to-day life in order to get where you have to get. So without much further ado, let's start the meeting. And for this, we have 3 rounds. The first round is the prepared speech round, where the speaker will come and present his speech for a maximum of 4 to 5, 6 minutes. A minimum is 4 minutes and maximum is 6 minutes. And today we have 2 speakers. We have Toastmasters Kevin and Toastmasters Arindam. So I got to know just this morning after coming to the meeting that Toastmasters Kevin will be doing a speech, which I will have to give him the topic for it. So, so yeah, when it, I would, after Arindam, Toastmasters Arindam finishes his speech, I would get on to that. And the next round is a table topics round. But for today's session, we will not be having a table topics round. We have a guest speaker, a keynote speaker, who will be addressing us on how we prepare for speeches and how we could take part in speech contests so that we get better as in our communication and in delivering better speeches. And the last and the final round will be the evaluation round. And in the evaluation round, we have a general evaluator. And for today's session, we have general evaluator, Toastmasters Anand. And we have two speech evaluators. We have Toastmasters Sarala as a speech evaluator for Toastmasters Arindam. And we have Toastmasters Shilpa as a speech evaluator for Toastmasters Kevin's speech. And to help the general evaluator with his evaluation, we have the tag team. The tag team, as you know, is the timer, the R counter, and the grammarian. And for the timer, we have Toastmasters Archana, and we have one person playing two roles today. So for the grammarian and R counter, we have Toastmasters Trishya. So without much delay, let's get started with the session. So I request our first speaker, Toastmasters. I request our general evaluator, Toastmasters Anand, to brief us about his role.
Just that the mic has come. Good morning. Okay. So as a general evaluator, my responsibility is to go through or keep close eye open with an open eye all the proceedings of the meeting. I have the tag team, and good that the team would explain what they are. Otherwise, it would have been me who is calling the GE to introduce themselves, and also the R counter as well as the grammarian. So let me do that honor just to call upon the timer for today to talk about what the timer role is. So I have Archana, if I got my name. Thank you. So please do come over.
Thank you, Anand. Good morning, everyone. So, as timer, I will be keeping a count on the time for each of the speaker and evaluation, and for the guest speaker as well. So for prepared speeches, the time limit is of 5 to 7 minutes. So at 5 minutes, I'll be showing the green card, and at 6 minutes, I'll be showing yellow card, and at 7 minutes, I'll be showing the red card. For evaluation, we have 2 to 3 minutes. So for 2 minutes, I'll be showing the green card. For 2 minutes 30 seconds, I'll be showing yellow card, and for 3 minutes, I'll be showing the red card. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for the detailed information on what the timer role is. So next, I call this personality, who I know, the split personality. Why? Because this person is going to do two roles. So let me call upon Trisha for the dual role which she is going to act today. The grammarian as well as the R counter.
That was a really sweet introduction. Thank you so much, Toastmasters. So today, I'm going to play the role of an R counter. So as an R counter, the purpose is to note the words and sounds that are used as crutch or pause fillers by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for overused words including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen to filler sounds including etc. I will also note when a speaker repeats a word or a phrase such as I, or this means, this means. At the end of the meeting, I will submit your report on the number of times the words was used. All the best for everyone. I'm going to also play the role of a grammarian today. So, grammar is an art, as we all know, which makes your script beautiful. So, grammar is not a constraining factor for you to speak, but grammar really helps you to keep your audience intact and carry them with you along without getting lost. So, as a grammarian today, my responsibility is to pay close attention to all the speeches, listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take a note of improper language as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As grammarian, my role is also to introduce the word of the day today. For today's meeting, the word of the day is charisma. I repeat, today's meeting, the word of the day is charisma. If you all know the meaning of the word charisma, it means a person who brings charm to the stage. A person who brings charm to the stage. An example could be, a friend of mine has a charismatic character. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day today, and I will give the grammarian report when called upon during the evaluation round. All the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And let me be the first person to use the word. The only person, probably the best I've seen in Whitefield, all are best. The most charismatic person is DTM Mazahir. Shilpa, you are also, but I'll call it on some other day. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So with that, let me quickly get on to the next part, which is we have to call this master of ceremony for today. That's none other than Kaushika, the team. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, General Evaluator, Toastmasters Anand, and the tag team, the timer, Toastmaster Archana, and the accountant and grammarian, Toastmaster Trishya, for briefing us about the evaluation process. So let's get geared up for the next session, the speeches, which is coming up. So you have to stay on your feet because there is a team who's paying close attention to what you are saying. So all the best to you. So the first speaker for today is Toastmasters Arindam. Toastmasters Arindam I have met him briefly in one of our previous meetings. That was before the inception of the Whitefield Toastmasters Club. And after that, I did not have the opportunity to acquaint myself with him. But I look forward to meeting you in our upcoming meetings and getting to know you better. So let's start with the first session of today, the prepared speech by Toastmasters Arindam. His speech will be evaluated by Toastmasters Sarala, and she would deliver her report by the end of the meeting. Over to you, Toastmaster. So let's call up. Okay, yeah. So I call upon Toastmasters Sarala to come forward to set the objectives for the evaluation process.
Good morning, everyone. Our next speaker is Dr. Selva's speech on research and presenting. The purpose of the speech is to learn how to review basic research methods and present a well-organized, well-researched speech on any topic. Thank you. Good luck, Toastmasters.
There's so many speakers came here that, and I think Shilpa said target speaker, so I'm just losing my charisma on this stage. Please forgive me for this. Okay.
What? You don't like the food here?
Yes, it's not fresh.
You mean you get fresh vegetables in Kolkata?
Yeah, and it's reasonable too.
Are you so obsessed with Kolkata?
Good morning, Toastmasters and dear guest. This is how my conversation ended with my father-in-law in 2017 when I was feeling that he is so obsessed with the East India that he dislikes the rest part of India, including Bangalore. This entire perspective got changed in 2019 when I was able to shop bag full of vegetables within rupees 150 in Kolkata, and the same would have expensed me in Bangalore approximately, any guesses? A bag full of vegetables in Bangalore. 1500. It varies from 1000 to 1500. And that time I felt, is this old man was right or not? In fact, I was able to enjoy the local eateries like rolls, different chop, cutlets, sweets within rupees 10, 15 or 20 rupees at the nominal rates, which is very unlike in different metros of the India. So what is different in Kolkata that it's able to offer such a variety of things at the nominal rates? I asked Professor Google, who told me another fact that according to Mercer's annual cost of living 2021, Kolkata has one of the lowest cost of living in the Indian metros. And it also told me there are three factors, which is not exhaustive, but these are my takeaways. The first factor is East Kolkata wetland. As the name says, this is a wetland situated in the eastern part of Kolkata, and it is used as a kidney of the Kolkata city. So you might be wondering what is kidney here. It will change the harmful or wasteful water from the sewage of the entire city into natural fertilizer. And this natural fertilizer is used to produce approximately 150 metric ton of vegetables, 11,000 ton of fishes at the city outskirts. Now you're getting all of these things at the city outskirts, which can be transferred to the local market in the nearest time with the low transport, and the cost of ice is also low there because this very nearest there. This was the first factor. The second factor is transportation. Kolkata has been enjoying its multiple commute options way from the British era. And these options include suburban trains, railways, trams, proximity to the port, and different taxis and buses, which is very unlike to other metros which has been there. They have started but were late. And that's why, according to the Ease of Moving Index 2018, Kolkata has been one of the affordable transportation where 80% of commuters in agreement with it, which means that it also affects the cost of the transports and the goods as well, because the lowest transport means that lowest cost of services and good as well. The third factor is economy. Unlike other metros, Kolkata is still in early stage of industrial development and commercial development there, which means that majority of the people are in the unorganized job market, and this puts the pressure on the government to ensure that the inflation is low and to keep the check on the essential items there. And hence, like the prices and the services, which just mean that we are producing the services there, it also comes down. Though Kolkata has its own problems like politics, crime, scams, but it has its own charm and which brings more people to the city because of affordable cost, affordable living and the comfort factor as well. Hence, the factors like East Kolkata wetland, affordable low cost of transportation, proximity to the ports, then economy and multiple other options which makes the Kolkata as city of joy for our pockets too. Back to you, T. Modi. Where she went?
Thank you, Toastmasters Arindam, for this wonderful speech. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the experience you took us through a different city of Kolkata. And for the next part of the meeting, we have another speech, a prepared speaker. Sorry, he's not a prepared speaker. I just got to know after coming to the meeting that he would be delivering a speech impromptu. The topic would be handed over to him by me, like right now. And then he would do 2 speeches on the topics which I tell him. And his speech would be evaluated by our speech evaluator, Toastmasters Shilpa. So just to brief you about the speech, it is a maximum of 2 to 3 minutes. And he would do it for both the speeches. And both of these speeches will be evaluated by our speech evaluator, Toastmaster Shilpa, and she would decide which of the 2 was better. So I just want to let you know a little more about the speaker. So he's someone from our club officer with whom I work as a VPPR for the Whitefield Toastmasters Club. He's proactive and has contributed immensely to all the PR activities of the club. And I'm excited to be on his team because he's such an enthusiastic person. And I'm happy to assist him with all the PR activities for the club. And this person is none other than Toastmasters Kevin. So let's give it up for Toastmasters Kevin.
Okay, I think there is value.
Good morning again. The purpose of Kevin's speech is to the member to develop their method for giving impromptu speeches and practice adapting rehearsed stories during a presentation. As our Toastmaster of the day mentioned, he's going to deliver 2 speeches for 2 to 3 minutes. So timer, please show the cards as 2, 2.5, and 3 minutes for both the speeches. And this will be topics for this would be given by Timor of the day, as you heard her already. So I will be evaluating on both of these and will present report on one of those which he delivered the best, and the other one I'll keep it for him to learn as a lesson learned. Over to you, Kevin, and good luck for your speech.
Thank you, Shilpa. The topic.
Okay, the first topic is hard work versus smart work. Sometimes we work really hard and we don't get what we want, right? We have to figure out a smart way out of it. You need to be street smart, and you need to learn how to apply it in your life. So my topic is hard work versus smart work. How would you take these 2 in life?
Okay, I started watching this Prime series yesterday. I don't know how many of you have started watching it. The Shahid Kapoor and Vijay, yeah, Farsi. I forgot the name actually. So, a wonderful series and a great example for hard and smart work. So this person seems to be a good designer. He's a good artist. He can draw stuff. So what did he do? He started drawing the currency, the 500 rupee note, and he made an exact replica of that, and he started flushing it into the market because he's not having a proper job. And his uncle was in debt-ridden press actually. So a wonderful series. I'm loving the way people are acting, and also it's like it's not like what he's doing is definitely wrong. Like you're creating a inflation by creating a note and then supplying it to the market, which actually the Reserve Bank of India should do. But he is doing it from his end, which is creating a lot of inflation in the market. But he is making money. So he's smartly making money out of it and clearing his uncle's loans and all that. Now, that being said, personally speaking, I am a hard worker. I'm not good at doing smart work. Because whenever I try to do that, I'll fall into a trap. I feel hard work gives us a sense of motivation, and you feel like achieving something in your life. You have some motive in your life, and that's the reason why you really work hard. If you don't have a motive in your life, then there's no purpose of living. That's what I feel. So, there are several examples for that matter. For example, the project works that was done during my MBA. So these days, thanks to AI, we have got ChatGPT. It's even easier for us to create a speech. So if you are out of thoughts, or if you don't have a chain of thoughts in your mind, just put in ChatGPT, just ask, can you prepare a speech on rejection? If rejection was your topic, just can you prepare a speech on rejection? ChatGPT will give you a proper speech with a thank you in the end. Basically, you just need to read it. So that's where artificial intelligence have reached now. So definitely today's kids are paving the way into doing a lot of smart work. Hard work is like completely getting reduced, I would say, because things are getting smarter and easier now. It's easier to accomplish things than how it was like 10 years back. Especially for that matter, if you take our own parents into consideration, they will definitely not agree with smart work. They do not like the way how we operate. Like for example, what I said, when if I tell about Chat GPT to my father, he'll be like, so what exactly is your contribution to that speech? So you just downloaded it. Okay. Earlier you even had Google, so this made it even more easier. You don't have to even search now. You just need to go into Chat GPT and just search for what you need. I hope it is red. Okay, I'm so sorry, I didn't see that. Okay, so Kaushika, you can give me the second topic here.
So my second topic is, which is the coolest invention you've ever seen, like to date, and what do you think would be the next big thing in the future?
There are a lot of new innovations that's happening, out of which the one that struck me and the one that I shared 1 hour back in Facebook was the Audi, the new car of Audi Ethosphere. I think that's what it's called. So basically, it's like it's a technological, what to say? I mean, it's going to be a very different life, at least from in our era. I'm not even thinking about what is going to happen probably in our future generations. Because now itself, it is something else. Because this particular car is like connected to your entire house. So the car and the house. So Audi is not just going to be in the car segment, but they're going to be somewhat like Alexa. So they will know like what is your mood preferences, and they will even suggest you places you can travel. Based on your mood, you can go to this mountain or you can go to this place. I mean, that car should definitely be very expensive. But however, Audi has come up with a very good car. I would say you guys should always, check out that YouTube video. So this car is having, so they're saying Tesla should actually watch and learn from this car, especially the Tesla, the pickup car that they build. Forgot the name of that car. So they said this design is much better than Tesla. Tesla should see and make some changes in the design. I really love the way they show the car. I think this car will be launched very soon. It's not going to be a concept car, but it's too good. The reason being, when you're sitting inside, you have two options. Either it is auto-driven, that is like how Tesla does, without a driver, it is capable of driving itself, or you'll get a steering through which you can actually get that off-road driving experience. So I feel the electric cars are one of the things that I definitely admire, and the kind of technological brilliance that is being shown in the car segment. It's like it's phenomenal. And thanks to Elon Musk, who even brought this idea forward. Otherwise, we will not be having electric cars. We would still be driving petrol cars. And another great invention is definitely ChatGPT. ChatGPT will help us not just for preparing the Toastmaster speech, but also in your work life. I mean, I just have the fear that we won't use our brains anymore. With that, I would like to hand it over back to Toastmaster Kaushika.
Thank you, Toastmasters Kevin. Let's move on to the next session of today's meeting. And like I have already told you that we will not be having a big topic session today. Instead, we will have a keynote address by our distinguished Toastmasters, Vaibhav Gupta. He is a professional writer and he's currently employed at Singular. He has been in Toastmasters for 5 years, starting in 2016 and to 2021. And Vaibhav has coached, Toastmasters Vaibhav has coached 120 plus people and provided training sessions to thousands. He is a 2-time distinguished Toastmasters. He also has his website, which we would share by the end of the meeting, and where he writes and does podcasts about mental health, habits, relationships, and he writes fictions too. So you might be interested to check out his website. So without much delay, I would like to call upon our distinguished Toastmasters, Vaibhav Gupta.
Since this is a new club, you might not understand that what I am doing right now is one of the cardinal sins of Toastmasters. I'm sitting down on stage. And yet, this is how, in 2002, a person named Chris Anderson spoke at the TED conference. Chris was taking over TED, which is the parent company of TEDx, as you might have heard. And he was so nervous to speak to a room of high-profile guests, he sat down on a chair and nervously started to speak to them. He was going to take the head of this organization and he's nervous to speak to his audience, but he has to do it. So he takes a chair, sits down, gets comfortable and talks. And in Toastmasters, this is a sin. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary members of Whitefield Toastmasters Club. My name is Vaibhav Gupta. Thank you so much for giving me your time today. You can clap now. I have been called to speak to you about Toastmaster speech contests, but as I can see that this is quite a new club, I might add in a little bit more context so that you understand why you would want to take part in contests and why you want to come to Toastmasters in general. How many of you are guests who are not members of the club? Can you please raise your hands? Quite a few. Okay, and then the members, can you keep your hands up? Keep your hands up. And then the members, can you please raise your hands? Okay, and there's one person who's not raising his hand at all. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. You can put your hands down now. So, let me start from the beginning as to what Toastmasters is and why you would want to take part in contests. The Toastmasters contest season begins in January of every year. It is the most exciting time to be in Toastmasters. And it generally carries through until August. For 7 months of the year, the contest season is on. What happens during this contest season? Toastmasters is a global organization with over 330,000 members in 165 countries. These are things that we had learned as part of being members for a long time, and you could just rattle off. Now, I've been away from Toastmasters for 2 years. But in this time, from every club, every member has an opportunity to become a world champion. That's why it takes 7 months. We have divided this global organization into a hierarchy of manageable regions, which become districts, which become divisions, which become areas, which become clubs. It's very confusing and you don't need to know any of it. You just need to know that we are going to have contests at each level, and the winners at each level will go on to represent their club, their area, their division, their district, and so on until a global stage. So, why take part in contests at all? Well, becoming a world champion is a very noteworthy goal. You can call yourself the world champion of something. Public speaking. I can call myself the world champion of killing mosquitoes. It doesn't sound the same, right? Public speaking, he can come up on a stage and take the attention of the entire room and hold it in his hand. He's such an amazing speaker. Isn't that a worthwhile goal to have? That's why you might want to take part in contests. What are some other reasons you might want to take part in Toastmasters contests? Well, you're going along this journey of becoming a better public speaker, learning to talk to somebody in a full room, look at them in the eyes, and learn to hold everyone's attention. How do you test yourself? In school, you had exams, and exams would tell you what kind of student you are. Are you a good student or are you a bad student? How well have you learned the information? Contests are like Toastmasters exams. Now for you, because you've only been around for 3 months or so, right now an exam might be premature. But that's okay, because you can still use this exam as a grown adult in charge of your destiny. You can use it to understand, where do I stand as a speaker? How good am I? That is invaluable data that you learn about yourself that gives you a direction forward. You just need a single direction. And sometimes the contest can be the direction that a lot of Toastmasters follows. As part of this organization, another route that we will not talk about in detail today is the leadership route, which is what I chose to follow while I was a member. For the club members who are club officers and who are role takers in this session, if you'd like feedback on how your session went today, I can offer you insight after the session is over. And we'll talk about the leadership track there. But we're talking about the speech track today. How many of you delivered at least one speech? At least one, okay. You are the people who should be thinking about taking part in the contest. Everybody else who's not delivered a prepared speech yet should first aim to deliver their first speech. You know why? Because after you deliver your first speech, you stop fearing for your life on stage. It is true. Some of you sniggered, but the fear of public speaking is the #1 fear in the world, more than the fear of spiders, lions, tigers, birds, tractors, and cars running over you. The fear of public speaking is the #1 fear in the world. And your body does not differentiate between a tiger and a lion and a speech. It just understands you're afraid. So at the end of your first speech, you're going to feel, oh, I didn't die. I didn't have a heart attack. Okay, cool. I can do this. I'll be a great speaker. But until then, I would ask you not to take part in contests. Prepare yourself for that first speech. So this side conveniently is mostly people who know. Can you shift over to this side? Yeah. No. The people who have not given the speeches versus people who have given speeches. For you all, I would suggest the table topic contest, which we'll talk about. For you all, I would recommend both the table topic and the international speech contest, which we'll be talking about. So in Toastmasters, you have primarily 3 competitions. There are actually 4 or 5 or 6, depending on which district you are in. Different districts try to do their own contests, but you can think of 3 primary contests, which are international speech. What is international speech contest? That is the one in which you'll be a world champion of public speaking. You'll come up on stage and speak for 5 to 7 minutes in a speech that you've prepared and practiced till your fingers have fallen off and your brain has gone into mush. You've practiced it so much because you respect the audience's time, you respect their intelligence, and you want them to have a great experience. And you're doing that against all the best people in the entire city that you're living in, and then onto bigger stages. 5 to 7 minutes. Those are the international speech contest rules. Then you have the table topic contest, which is an impromptu speech contest, but you're only speaking for 2 minutes. 1 to 2 minutes, that's all. And the topic is given to you on the spot. All the people participating in the contest get the same topic. Right? And they're all taken out of the room, and one by one they're brought in and given the topic. And then they have to speak for 2 minutes, and they're like, okay, what do I say? And they have to make it look like they know what they're talking about. That's the entire contest. The third type of contest is evaluation. As you know, in every Toastmasters meetings, we are doing an evaluation session, which you will see after my speech is done. You will see somebody come up and start giving feedback to every speaker who performed today. That is a skill in itself, that you can become a better evaluator. You can help other people learn how to be a better speaker. That is what I do as a speaker in Toastmasters. As a trainer, as a coach, and as an evaluator, I come and give a lot of people feedback, very analytical feedback on how to improve. And so you have competitions for that also. I've described the 3 contests to you. Whichever one appealed to you, there's lit a competitive spark in your mind. That's the contest that you should go for. And try and focus. Like, if you want to just test yourself on all different skills, you can take part in all of them. Remember, it becomes more hectic in preparation. Challenge yourself to the point where you are comfortable, because the first rule of Toastmasters is that this is a safe space. We come here all to practice public speaking. You saw 2 speakers before us giving beautiful speeches, one prepared, one not prepared, in a safe space where everybody is practicing. Right? So with that enthusiasm, I want you to approach a contest. If the idea of a contest makes you afraid, then don't take part. It's okay. You can take part next time. Build your comfort and become a Toastmaster and grow in a very safe, progressive way. That is the goal. Now, I will talk to you about each of the contests specifically, and I'll give you some strategies as young speakers, very specific strategies that you can use to be better at these contests. Is that okay? For the camera. Are you live streaming or are you recording? Recording, okay. So, we'll talk about, which one should we talk about first? ISE or table topics? ISE. Give me, like, for ISE, give me a noise. ISE. For table topics, give me a noise. Nobody. I can see young clubs afraid of table topics. They were my favorite part of Toastmasters. I joined because of table topics, you know. In 2016 when I joined, I wanted to become so good at table topics that I could carry a conversation with anybody. I was good at one-to-one conversations. I was good at one-to-many conversations. I was not good at one-to-few. But what is one-to-few? When you sit at a restaurant with all your friends, when you sit in an adda with all your friends and you don't know what to say and it's awkward. I wanted to improve that, so I thought if I become really good at table topics, I'll be able to carry a conversation with anybody. But okay, since you all asked for ISE, I will tell you ISE first. Now, unfortunately, because ISE is a worldwide competition and you become a world champion at the end, it attracts the best and the worst in the Toastmasters community. What do I mean by that? The best speakers are the one who are trying to come at you with perfect technique to show you what they've learned and to hold your interest and capture your heart. It's very rare to see somebody give a speech in Toastmasters which captures your heart, especially if you've been for a long time, because it becomes repetitive after a while. Right? I remember in 2020, in one of the division contests, there was a speaker, a different division, and I was there as the chief judge for that contest. This person, he gave a speech as a father about his daughter sort of rejecting him in for going to school. So he told his own father when he was younger, as he was leaving for school, and when he came back, he's like, "Papa, where's Mama?" And that's the only sentence that a papa hears is, "Papa, where's Mama?" And then he says that his daughter did the same thing to him, and he cried. And it was this beautiful speech about fatherhood that made us give him a standing ovation. Some of us had tears in our eyes. That's a very rare kind of best that you get in Toastmasters. That is what you should aspire to. Because what is a speech? It's nothing but clarifying an idea in your head, an idea that contains all the raw emotion and technicality and enthusiasm behind it. To communicate all of that to an audience in its entirety is an art form. And that is the best of Toastmasters, and that was what you should aspire to. What do I mean by the worst of Toastmasters? The worst of Toastmasters, unfortunately, Toastmasters is an organization that is focused on formal technique of speaking, which is why you have R counters and timers and grammarians. Don't use ums and ahs and you knows, because that makes your speech sound weak. And we focus on those technicalities. It's good, it's important. But sometimes the contests then become about the technicalities, and people bring these empty, soulless stories that are designed and manufactured to feel good, kind of like a ChatGPT answer, designed to feel good but feel empty at the same time. So if you want to win the contest, focus on technique. That's fine. And I want you to, and it's completely fine. I'm not casting judgment. Just because I say it's the worst part of Toastmasters doesn't mean anything. Who am I? Right? We are a global community, and people feel like they're motivated to win a contest, and that is what ultimately drives them to practice and become better. If that drives you to become better, then focus on the technicality. Here's the technicality of an ISC. Charisma, the word of the day, is a very important factor in any sort of attention holding. As an ISC speaker, or as any speaker on this stage, your job is to hold the attention of the audience. I have been studying this charisma. I wanted to understand what it is. There are some people who walk into a room and you turn around and look at them, right? What is it? What is that star quality that attracts people? To my best knowledge, that charisma is three things. It is competence, it is presence, and it is enthusiasm. What is competence? Competence is nothing but knowing what you're doing. Like being good at what you do. What are you? Are you a writer? Are you a good writer? Are you a software developer? Are you a good software developer? Are you a student? Are you a good student? And that is competence. Do you know what you're doing? How do you judge competence? When problems happen, are people coming to you for answers? That's competence. Right? Being competent means that you'll always be confident in a room, because you know that you are in control of the situation. You are not afraid of something happening. You're not afraid of the stage being judged by somebody. You're not afraid of running an event. You're not afraid of being a club officer, whatever it be, whatever you're doing, you're not afraid. That is competence. How do you build that? Practice. So in an international speech contest, when you're writing a speech for 5 to 7 minutes, you will learn over time that there are certain speeds that you go at and a certain word limit that you go for. I recommend somewhere between a 120 to 150 word limit for prepared speeches, just because I'm used to speaking a little bit faster. But if you're a slower speaker, aim for somewhere between 80 to 100 words a minute. Multiply that, so that's 700 to 150 is 1050. 700 to 1050 words is where your speech should lie at the maximum, right? Prepare your speech with structure. What is structure? Structure is nothing but intro, body, conclusion. What was my introduction today? Sat on a chair to capture your attention and talk to you about it. What is the body? What I'm telling you now. What is the conclusion when I summarize at the end? Every speech has an intro, body, conclusion. It's not difficult. How are you capturing attention? What are you telling them? And how are you reminding or wrapping up? These are your three parts of the speech. Right? This is your competence. I lost my chain of thought. Sorry. We were talking about the ISE. We talked about, remind me, we were talking about the ISE. We talked about competence, presence, and enthusiasm. And while we're talking about competence, we said knowing what you're doing, and in a speech, preparing your speech around intro, body, conclusion, 5 to 7 minutes, 700 to 1050 words. Correct? Good. Okay, good. So that's how you prepare a speech for a contest, and then practice it again and again and again until you don't need any notes. That is the competence that you need for a speech contest. Coming to presence. What is presence? Nothing but being present in the moment. You're not thinking about anything else. You're not thinking about the past. You're not thinking about the future. You're present. What does presence do? It's very noticeable who is in the room with you and who's not in the room with you, right? We say it in corporate circles, physically present, mentally absent. And that's fine. Again, it's fine. But those are the people that don't catch attention. The people who catch attention are the ones who are present. Right? How do you become present? You can approach it in a few different ways. The way we in Toastmasters recommend you approach presence is by having respect for your audience. So, because I don't want to give you information that is useless, I don't want to give you information that is fluff, right? I'm respecting your time, therefore I'm focused. Like, there's an exercise in sort of making sure it's a good presentation. That is presence. That's all you need to do. So, if you're worried about something, you're having a fight with your spouse, or you're buying a house, or whatever it is, you need to forget that on the day of the competition and only focus on the competition. That is presence. The last one is enthusiasm. Do you like dull, boring speakers? Would you rather cut your hand off or listen to a politician talk? I'd rather cut my hand off, right? It's because sometimes people don't care about you, they only care about themselves. And it's very apparent. What is enthusiasm? Enthusiasm is nothing but you have something to say, I'm interested in listening to it. Even though I'm the one on stage, even though I'm the one who's speaking so much, I'm seeking feedback from all of you. I'm keeping you engaged. That is enthusiasm, because I'm happy to be here. If you are happy to be here, the audience will be happy to listen to you. That is enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is the opposite of fear. Coming back to the fear of public speaking. How do you combat the fear of public speaking and become a better speaker? Thereby taking part in contests, thereby winning, thereby becoming a world champion, thereby becoming somebody who holds the attention of the audience. You replace that fear with enthusiasm. And that is your trick for performing well in the Toastmasters International Speech Contest. Competence, presence, enthusiasm. Take a break. We'll now talk about the table topics contest. Do you want to take a break? I'm good. I can continue. Shall we talk about the table topic contest?
Yes.
So, impromptu speaking, like I told you, is what I joined Toastmasters for, and then discovered that I was better at evaluation. But still, impromptu speaking was the focus of my early years of development in Toastmasters. And I made a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes. I got stuck like I did with you just now. How do you conquer that fear? The fastest way to conquer that fear is to make that mistake again and again and again and again and again, and that's it. We're replacing that fear with enthusiasm. I once, actually for two different mentees of mine who were really afraid of speaking, I said, okay, let's do something. In secret, I told them, I took them aside and said, you're going to go up on the Toastmaster stage for a table topic. You're going to say, good afternoon Toastmasters, to start the timer. And then you're going to be quiet. You're going to be quiet for 2 minutes. Or as long as you can handle it. And then once you can't handle it, you say, thank you. People will clap for you, you'll leave the stage. The Toastmaster will pick back up. There will be awkwardness in the room. And then after the meeting, people will come to you and express their sympathy. Oh, it's okay, it happens. All of us get nervous on stage. If you can deal with the shame of that sympathy, you will never be afraid of the stage again. That's it. So whenever you get an opportunity in Toastmasters to speak, come up on stage and practice. Because ultimately you're trying to replace that fear with enthusiasm. That is the trick to table topic speaking. Your technique for table topic speaking, since I promised you specific techniques, is intro, body, conclusion. In table topics, because it's an impromptu speech, the best sounding speeches are the ones that sound prepared. How do you make a speech sound prepared? You have a captivating introduction, you have a specific body, and you have a specific conclusion. Write down this technique if you're making notes. 1-3-1. 1-3-1. That's the technique. Right? 1 line of introduction, 3 lines of body, 1 line of conclusion. That's it. Simple. Shall I explain what that is? Somebody give me a table topic.
Sky is green.
The sky is green. Before, once the topic is given to you, you have about 15 to 20 seconds to be quiet and process and think of what you want to say. Use that time, be silent entirely so that the timer doesn't start. But because I'm explaining to you what I'm doing, I have to verbalize. This will be my quiet time as I start thinking, sky is green. What can I talk about? Sky, aviation. Aviation, green gases, fossil fuels, environment crisis. Okay, that's a topic I can talk about. Another route, sky is green, world is upside down. World is upside down. What if gravity was reversed? Gravity was reversed, we wouldn't be able to drive cars and everything would be slow. We would have vertical cities. Right? These are lines of thought that I have. I have to choose an idea because you'll have multiple ideas, and the freeze that we get at the start of an impromptu speech, it's okay, you can answer this question. The freeze that you get at the start of a table topic is because you are wondering which idea should I pick. So for a lot of people, I recommend just take your first one, it's okay. Just improve that first one into a presentable topic. So what was our first one? Aviation and the climate crisis. Cool. How do I fit that in 1-3-1? The sky is green while the grass is no longer so. Or if I make the sentence better, the sky is green but the grass no longer is. That's my introduction. That's captivating, right? Ooh, 2 different things. The sky is green and he's added to the topic saying the grass no longer is. Right? What is he talking about? That's my captivating intro. That's 1 line. I can choose to add 1 or 2 more lines, that's okay, but this is the crux of the introduction. Now in my 3 lines of body, I will explain what I mean. Right? And I can take any angle in the climate crisis, like the world sucks, man. You guys know. You can take the meat industry, you can take the oil and gas industry, whatever you want to talk about. Take 3 sentences about that and space them out nicely in the topic. And then in the conclusion say, it feels like I can no longer live on the ground because Mother Earth is no longer green. And so I have to look up and imagine what if the sky was instead, what if resources were infinite, and what if we could continue to use fuels without any of these moral crises. Right? This is roughly how I would break down a table topic. Of course, when you're presenting it, you learn how to present it better. You must sort of silence out your need to explain yourself. Right? Focus on this 1-3-1 angle, expand those sentences into like short paragraphs, and that's your table topic. And it will sound like you prepared that speech. And that is how you will make a table topic seem really good. So that's everything I wanted to offer, because again, we can offer you a lot more tips and tricks, but this will be too much information for you to absorb. You're all young speakers. Try these. Your 3-step model for ISE, your 1-3-1 model for table topics. And you can use this both in your club meetings and also in the contests to become better speakers and find data points for you to improve yourself. That's all I had. Thank you so much. And I think we'll open now for questions, right? Sit down. It always feels like an obligation in Toastmasters to get a standing ovation. I hope you all found it useful. Any questions? Specific questions about your Toastmasters journey? Yes.
Table topics. This has always been in my head. Do we have to present anything with a realistic goal or something which is current affair? It can just be
It can be anything.
story or
Are you talking about in the contest?
yes.
In the contest, people aren't really expecting anything from you. So if you choose to talk about current affairs, do it in a way where it seamlessly fits into the topic. Your main job is to make it sound seamless. So I would suggest if you're going to talk about current events, use them as examples for bigger points that you're making.
For example, when you said sky is green, the first thought that came into my head was Avatar. Avatar, the movie, right? That the sky is actually green.
Yeah, you can talk about Avatar the movie. So what is the message that you're trying to give to the audience? Right, what will be your conclusion? If you're talking about Avatar, which is a movie, you can talk about, I watched it and it was a fantastic experience. That can be your topic. Just again, with that enthusiasm, you make it sound important to the audience.
I wish we had
Something like that. Yeah, absolutely. So table topics is more about entertaining your audience rather than teaching them something. A lot of people do choose the teaching method of speaking because that's how we normally talk. Right? Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
How do you manage when you don't know anything about the topic?
When you don't know anything about the topic, sometimes you can get stuck. And in a contest, that generally means you're not going to perform well. Right? Ultimately, it is about, like, how do I explain this to you? If you get stuck and you don't have a topic, like you don't have any second thought about the sentence, you can start the sentence and try to yes and it. Do you know what yes anding is? Okay, in improv theater, yes and is a technique where when you're with a stage partner, the only thing you're trying to do is not disagree with them at all and build upon what they're saying. So if I say, Mahesh, you're Mahesh, right? Yes. Mahesh, if you're on stage with me and I say, Mahesh, you're a giraffe today. You're looking like a giraffe today. Yes and would demand that you say, yes, I am a giraffe and my neck is very sore. Right? You are accepting what I've said and you're building upon it. Right? So you can yes and the topic. So if the sky is green, we add onto it. Assuming the sky is green, what else is true? The sky is green and the pilot's vision is blurred. Something you can add on to it. And that add-on will give you the material that you need to talk about. We used to use this example in Toastmasters, and it's a very cliche example, like, you prepared a speech about a cow and the topic that you get is a tree. So you just talk about the cow for the entire 2 minutes and at the end you say the cow was tied to the tree. Right, we say it. So in Toastmasters, a lot of it is sometimes bluffing your way through your speech, and it becomes easier the more you do it. Like I just bluffed my way through this answer with you. I hope you got something useful out of it. Any other questions? Yes.
This is regarding speech, like the entire speech, 7 minutes. So might be a repetitive question, but some might have faced, some might be struggling. I am in the category which is trying to find it out. So 2 specific questions. One is when you want to deliver a story in a speech, you think about a story from your life that you want to deliver. And of course, as a human being, you have multiple sub-events to the major event. How to prioritize that? And second thing, should I ask the second thing after the first one?
Yeah, okay. So the first one, the question is, how do you prioritize the parts of a story that you're trying to tell? How do you prioritize which parts you want to tell? Right? I actually have written about this. There's a Toastmasters handbook that I've made, which I'll pitch to you at the end. You can go read that handbook, and I've written specifically about this topic. I try and tell people that I'm coaching that, hey, remember that this is not the only speech you're going to give. For like a lot of times in the introduction, in the first speech, like it's a tradition in Toastmasters to talk about yourself, right? And people have so much to say. I have this also, I do this also, I do this also, and this also. Like you have so much to say. You can't encapsulate your entire life in one speech. So I remind people, this is not the only speech you're going to give. For this speech, what specific slice of your life are you trying to share with your audience? I try and tell them to craft a through line. Do you know what a through line is? In any written piece, in any writing, a through line is a 1-sentence summary of the entire piece. Right? Often the headline can be the through line, Or so if for example we take this session that I'm giving you, what is the through line of this session? Toastmasters and public speaking, Toastmasters as an organization focuses on a lot of the technicalities of public speaking, and I am asking you to bring back the enthusiasm and the joy of speaking in your life while focusing on the technique. That is the one sentence summary of this entire session. So write your through line, and that will help you sort of focus on how you want to structure the rest of your speech. So if that doesn't help, try writing out your conclusion first. What are you trying to teach your audience, and then work backwards.
And the second one is about the through line itself. So when you want to talk about a particular story that happened with you, life is always not white and black, right? There is always gray. Life is always not white and black, there is always gray. So you have two different things that you want to say from the same story, but you don't want to say two different things because the story needs to be simple and needs to have one specific strong fact in the listener's mind. So,
okay, how do you reconcile this?
Sorry?
How do you solve this problem?
Yeah, so how do I spin the story in case if I want to choose a particular, say, phrase which is likable by the audience according to me, but the story is not so well going with that, so I need to spin the story a little bit. How do I do that?
Become a journalist. I mean, that's what the mastery is, right? Ultimately, that is just a writing thing, like learning how to focus on specific parts and not focus on the contradictory parts. Rather than trying to like fit a story to the audience, I would prefer that you try and live that story as authentically as you can, and through your charisma just connect with the audience that, hey, my angle is what I'm trying to tell you, and that is important. Don't try and spin a story to be something else just because you think it'll do better with the audience, because you're introducing inauthenticity into it.
Sure.
If you want to give me a specific example, I can help you.
Yes, sure, I will do that. So lately I was trying to come up with a story. So the story is basically I once saved a cat which was about to die. I took him to the hospital and did whatever best I can. So one conclusion is that I tried my best to save the cat regardless of what the result was. The cat died, by the way. So that was one, regardless of what the result is, I tried my best. Second thing is, in the process, I had to overrule my father who said, don't go because the cat is anyway going to die. So I didn't want to stop myself. So now, which one, I can say two things. One is that regardless of the results, I tried my best. Second thing is, at the point when I want to do something, I do something. I think it is right, I go ahead and do it. So these two are the...
Okay, which one sounds better to you?
First one.
Then that's the one that you should speak. That's it. Like, you can spin the story in both ways, right? If I'm talking about personal responsibilities and like listening to your family, right? I can have that angle. Like, my father always is very protective of me ever since I was a kid, and he wouldn't let me go out much. And then once this happened that I rescued a cat and I wanted to go to the vet, but the vet was very far, and my father said no, and I defied
Yeah. Thank you, distinguished Toastmasters Vaibhav Gupta, for this wonderful session. And one takeaway I would really, which will stay with me, is enthusiasm over fear. So be enthusiastic of what you do, and don't worry too much about thinking, overthinking, and saying, okay, will this? Am I doing a good job? You just have to take the first step, give it a try, give it a shot, and then you would figure your way out. So conquering fear and being enthusiastic about life. And it somewhat goes with my theme, journey over destination. So we all
Thank you, Toastmaster team for today. Very important role today. So, yes, let me start with a few things which we probably would have improved upon. The good thing is, you all had a good round of people here sitting as well as guests on the right side, members on the left side. And that has shown the interest we have as a Toastmaster. So, big round of applause. You need to applause yourself, please, for that. The second important is the way we started off. We were late. We were supposed to start by 11. I think it was 10:45. So the actual time is set. It's 11 o'clock. Okay. So we started 6 minutes late. And Surgeon at Arm did a very good dry run before the camera was set. Hope the camera was set earlier and we started it. That would have given us 2 minutes extra. Okay. Other thing which for the Surgeon at Arm, you did a fabulous job putting up the rules, the 3 ground rules, and you introduced everyone. What could have helped you to be a better Surgeon at Arm? Just that you need to have enough gun, not that. The boards at the behind you are trying to fill in after you started off. Wish you had done it earlier. Kept everyone informed what their role is. That would have been a different perspective out of that to start. The second important thing, Surgeon at Arm, big round of applause I need. Let's go with the timer report before I reveal the other part of it. And let me go call upon the timer first.
So, first prepared speech was given by Arindam and it took 5 minutes 24 seconds. So this was bang on time. The second speech was like 2 speeches by Kevin. The first speech was of 4 minutes and the second was of 3 minutes. So the first speech was little over time. Evaluator was Sarla and the actual time was 3 minutes 22 seconds. So little bit over beyond 3 minutes. Shilpa took 3 minutes 14 seconds. And for keynote speaker, the time taken was 25 minutes.
Let me quickly call the split person. Yeah, over to you for the grammarian as well as platform.
So I'll first report on the grammarian role, starting with the improper usage of grammar or the tenses or the phrases. Arindam, our speaker of today, first speaker of today, when he compared the prices of Kolkata and Bangalore, he used expense are. In the sentence, it is supposed to be used as expenses are. And when addressing the proximity in Kolkata, you mentioned nearest time when it's not actually nearest time, it is shortest time. Moving on to second speaker, Kevin, Toastmasters Kevin. So, you had very little grammatical errors. One was even Google had. When you were explaining about Google had so and so features, you could have just said Google had or Google has. Even Google has didn't fit that context. That was an improper, so give it up for that. And something else was also used in your speech while explaining about the car, the EV vehicle. Something else could have been replaced by words like unbelievable, unimaginable. I was trying to find, but no. Toastmasters Sarula, when you were delivering the evaluation, you had mentioned this phrase very, very demanding, which could be replaced by extremely demanding. The awe factors that I found in terms of the usage of words or the phrases, starting with Toastmaster Arindam. Despite before a very little time I introduced the word of the day, you didn't fail to use the word of the day and start the speech. Kudos to that. Our TMOE of today, Kaushika, she had used words like street smart, fall flat, when she was actually explaining about the questions that she had asked, which is commendable. And distinguished Toastmaster Varthur-Hobli had used words like noteworthy, fingers have fallen off, basically to explain that you're extremely nervous. And with usage of the word charisma again, 3 times he had used in the entire explanation session that he had presented. Toastmaster Sarala in the evaluation round has used the word charisma once, commendable again, and Toastmaster Shilpa has used the word imbalanced, which was absolutely perfect for what you were explaining. That's about the grammarian report for today. Moving on to the counter report. Starting with our TMOD, Kaushika, she's used about 11 times, so about 2 times. That's something that you've got to work on. And our first speaker, Arindam, absolutely you killed it. You had no fillers, except repetitively using the T before the inflation. It says inflation, just inflation, the inflation. So you can just work on that. But commendable work. I think we can give a round of applause. Second speaker, TM Toastmasters Kevin. You've used about 8 times. Again, good work for an impromptu speech. It's not above the limit. You've used so once and like 4 times, which you could improve going forward. And our evaluator, first speech evaluator, TM Toastmaster Sarala has used twice and the word like once. And our second evaluator used TM Toastmaster Shilpa used about the word real and really thrice. So you could replace that with relatable words. That's about my
Thank you. Detailed report both on the grammarian as well as our counter. Let's continue on my point. What I observed is I just finished after the essay because he starts the reading, and then few of them for let me thank DTM Vaibhav for that fantabulous session on what we need to be prepared upon for the 3 major contests we are going to hit. Thank you for taking your time out. I had a lot of learning, and only one regret, why ladies always first. I also raised my hand, didn't give me a chance. Let's take it offline. Okay, on a lighter note. Okay, so for the evaluation parts, speaker, Arindam, I am the mentor, and sadly I feel, didn't I tell you to get the sabji from the mandi? And what about the props I had asked for? That would have been a game changer. That would have attracted the audience the way you look from. I had a few points for you. Probably we can also take it offline, but I have absorbed a lot of things which we can work upon, but really good. The way I have heard you the first time and the way you have delivered. Fantastic, beautiful speech. Big round. And you will clap again because it's my name. Clap again. Now for the second speaker, I felt a lot of things which you could have improved upon. One of the aspects is how are you using the stage is very important. We have a good space here. And I've joined Toastmasters in an online system, and I struggle. When I get a stage here, people are moved around. Right? That would happen. So now, coming to the most important aspect which I felt is the evaluation. Shilpa, I'll go with Shilpa. So basically, you had everything in line for an evaluating circuit. You had a lot of things which helped us everyone to be how an evaluation. You are all learning, and you are really good at that. You had a conclusion which you summarized. Most of us fail to summarize what others do. That is really good. And for Sarla, you quickly come with you. So I have a few pointers for you. In fact, you could have emphasized how the opening has to be a trance. And you could have questioned them where the problem, at least the Dhama, Calcutta is known for that. And that would have added, he did a very good job in role play. And probably should have added, the props would have made things better. So, and I always had good regards and good feeling for my family. I don't question them because they did a fabulous job. It's very tough to monitor, and you did a pretty good job. And the dual personality. So yeah, really. Quickly, I feel we had a good session, and over to you, Timo, for that wonderful topic. You had kept it going and going, even though we had a very good speaker to talk about what is affected in the contest. You came back and continued. Good job. Over to you.
Thank you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Anand and the tag team for your feedback. And now we come to the end of the session. So I have to make a confession that this TMOD role, me taking up this role, it was just like 2 days prior to the meeting that I thought, okay, I could do it. But I was till this morning, until this morning, I thought, okay, I think I got it. I am prepared. I think I can handle it. And when I come here, I meet Sarla on the way, Toastmaster Sarla on the way, and she was, oh, you didn't get my introduction. You'll have to introduce me, right? And I was like, oh, I don't think so. The previous meetings, that didn't happen. I don't think that is required. And then I come here and Toastmaster Kevin tells me, you're supposed to prepare 2 topics for me to speak on. So these things were a little intimidating, and I was like, okay, I think okay, let me work on this. I got this. And then I come up on the meeting, and then I had to introduce the role players. I goofed up with a few names. So I mixed the names, and that got me to be nervous. So that's okay. Sometimes you make mistakes. That's okay. So you just have to carry on. So you don't have to worry about it. So that again with the theme, as I said. And when we make these mistakes, it's our choice as to how we go about it, right? So we enjoy every part of our life, be it success or failure. Make sure you live at the moment. You have fun. So that's what matters. Because getting to where you want to, the destination, it's not in your control. But the journey is what you can control. And it is always worth to enjoy every moment of your life. With that, I conclude. Thank you. Shilpa.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Sometimes it's so good to sit back, relax, enjoy, and listen to a leader who I definitely had an opportunity. When I was stepping up in my leadership journey as an area director, I had a chance to, work with, indirectly or directly with distinguished Toastmaster Varthur-Hobli. Another reason why I'm saying that is because when you take up a role, there's a lot that goes in your head before you come after what am I supposed to do. But today when I came and I had this awesome opportunity to almost observe every role player. So there's a lot of feedback, even if you say or not, I do have it for the entire meeting and certainly take it. At the same time, I'm glad and I'm thankful to distinguished Toastmaster Varthur-Hobli. I do have a small token of appreciation for you. I request you to hold on camera. So if I may request a dear friend, distinguished Toastmaster Varthur, to come to the stage.
Guys, this is why I must stop doing this. I'll talk to you about it. Thank you.
No, just a way for us as a club to show our gratitude to our speaker. I'll be seeking, a bit of feedback in terms of how the guest felt about this. However, in the interest of time, we'll do that often. Okay? There are ballots that everybody has it. I would request you to kindly fill in the best speaker among the two. You heard our speaker number 1, Toastmaster Arindam, and speaker number 2, Toastmaster Kevin. Speaker number 1 was evaluated by Toastmaster Salab as an evaluator, and 2 was evaluated by Toastmaster Shilpa. Because we did not have any table topic, I would request you not to fill in anything to the table topic. In terms of the best auxiliary role player, you may choose between Sergeant-at-Arms, Timer, and the dual hat role player today, Toastmaster Prishya, for our counter and remain. If you have any feedback specific to a speaker, I would request you to hold the ballot with you. Towards the end of the meeting, you can hand over to them so they learn from it. Related to a special announcement that I have is that our club contest will take place on February 26, 2023. The reason why we had an amazing session by distinguished Toastmaster Varthur, so you all prepare for it. There are wonderful techniques that I'm definitely taking with me in terms of notes for table topics as well as for the international speech contest. If you guys happen to have any further questions, he's available over the phone, on Instagram, as well as on email. Let me know and I'll be happy to share this number with you. Because in Toastmaster, I never came across anybody who said no for anything. Especially in terms of preparing for a role, preparing for a speech, preparing for a contest, preparing for a next set of leadership, right? They have never said no for it. On that note, with the power vested in me of this club as a presiding officer, I would like to officially adjourn the meeting. Thank you so much. Let me all come forward and take a picture. This will be posted later.